I have always said that the most important part about Renaissance Fair, fantasy, LARP outfits is accessories. And I wanted to kind of show that you can make some really cool accessories for very, very cheap. Don't mind the cat tail. So I spent some time in the dollar store looking around, seeing what could I craft for some accessories to make a Renaissance Fair, fantasy, or LARP outfit even better. And this is what I got. I got this fan. It is green and black, and it already has a loop on the bottom. I got this notebook, these retractable card holders, 6 book rings, a glasses pouch with a little clip on it, this little roll of fabric with a leaf pattern on it, some pens, and this glass bottle with a little cork in it. Total $10.65 for all of these items. And we're gonna get quite a few accessories out of all this. And then we'll even have supplies left over if you wanna make more. So I have some ideas for all of these things. We'll see if they come out nicely, but I think we should start with this notebook. So this might not be applicable for Renaissance fairs as much as it is for LARP, but you know, maybe you just want like a little wizard book on your character. So either way, this idea is to me mostly for LARP. The LARPs that I have been to, I've always needed like somewhere to write down information, whether that's for quest lines, remembering who's who and like what guild they're in and what I need to go talk to them about and all that stuff. And so it's nice to have a small notebook that you can keep on you. So I got this one that I am actually going to cut down to make it even smaller. So then that way I don't have like a giant book hanging off of me. And we will go from there. Okay. Here we go. Here's my little tiny book. Some of the pages got ripped, but you know, it adds character. It's for a LARP, right? Okay, now that the book has been cut in half, we can actually make it look a little bit more in theme. Here I have some tissue paper that you just use to like wrap gifts and stuff. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crinkle it up. Now I'm going to flatten it out. This is just going to give the paper some texture, and then with some dollar store Mod Podge and a brush, I am just going to coat the cover of the book and press the paper onto it. Take this tissue paper and I'm going to press it onto the book. I left some hanging over the edge here so that it's glued with a little more I can fold inwards later. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to coat the other side and then I'll just fold this paper over it. I'm going to get some on the spine as well. I'm going to take the scissors and just trim away some of the excess. What we're left with is a book that has this paper glued to the outside. And we're going to let this dry a little bit before continuing on to the next step. Now that this has been left to dry for a little bit, we can continue on. So what we need to do is we need to fold these pieces over and Mod Podge them down, but I'm going to cut a piece of cardstock that is this same size to cover up any of the edges. You can use any kind of paper for this. You could even use fabric if you wanted, but I've got a lot of cardstock, so that's the option I'm going with. Okay, now I have my cardstock pieces cut. I can kind of show you what I mean. So same thing, we're going to take the Mod Podge and kind of go over these edges. We're gonna fold them over, and then once they're all folded over, we will put this piece of paper on the inside so it looks nice and finished. Okay, so right where the book bends right here, you're going to cut a little slit in the sides, like this, and just trim off some of the excess at an angle, like so. And then same thing with the corners up here. So now that this is all trimmed down, go in with the Mod Podge. Now I can fold my edges over here. Down, I'm gonna do Mod Podge all over the middle to stick this piece of cardstock in here. Okay, I have both of the papers in, and now it's time to paint this part. I am just going to use acrylic paint. I'm gonna go pick my colors. I decided on a base coat of blue, highlights in green, and dark brown for some dirty looking shadows. So step one, just take your base coat and go all over the book. Then with the green, I dry brushed on where the raised edges are. That's going to be left over from the crinkled up paper. So you can see when I rotate it into the light a little better here, it gives it some more dimension, which I think is very fun. And then you can also go in with a darker color. I went around the edges to kind of make it look a little bit dirtier, like it had been used. I don't love how gritty the paint feels when it's all dry, so the last thing I did was took some more of the Mod Podge to go over it, which gives it more of a glossy finish and is nicer to touch in my opinion. Then using some twine, I decided to just wrap it around the middle of the book. So I just opened it to about the halfway point, wrapped some of this around, and I tied a really firm knot on the inside of the pages. This way I have an area of the book where it can hang off of my belt a little more easily. The very last step is using some elastic that I had left over. You can even use a hair elastic for this. And with some hot glue, I pressed it on with a wax seal to kind of make it look a little bit nicer. And then I put a button on the other side just so it would stay closed when it was hanging off my belt. So here I am putting the wax seal over the hot glue. And once this is dry, I did go in and paint this to make it look like an actual wax seal. Once that seal was dry, I did paint it with some red and gold paint, and then you can see here the elastic goes around a button I just tied on with twine, and here's the painted seal. So that is what the book looks like finished. I've ironed this piece of fabric, and I'm going to make a pouch that can hang off of a belt. I've made these before, they're pretty easy. So I have this fabric, and then you can use just like this type of twine. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip of this, and that is going to make up the pouch. So let me get that cut and I'll show you. Here is this strip that's going to make up the bulk of the pouch. So for this first step, I'm going to take the back side of the fabric and I'm going to fold down a little piece at the top here. And I'm going to sew along the bottom. This is going to leave a channel open for the string. Make sure you have the nice side of the fabric being folded over like so. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the same exact thing on this side. So that is step one. This piece is finished for now. So we have these two little channels over here. Now you're going to turn to your other strip of fabric. This strip basically needs to be, when you fold it in half, it needs to be long enough that a belt can go through. So just don't make it too short. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to take the nice side of the fabric and fold it over itself so that you have the back side of the fabric showing, and you're just going to stitch alongside this little tube. We're going to turn it inside out, which you can do with a safety pin, and then we're going to iron it. So the strip is done. I have put the seam in the middle of the back and I've just ironed it flat. I'm just gonna fold this over, and then on the nice side of the fabric, below the stitch line of where we've sewed those little channels, I'm going to attach this little strap. Okay, so now this is attached to the back here. I just sewed it in kind of like a square shape so it would hold nice and strong. Now we are going to fold the nice side of the fabric in on itself, and we're going to stitch up the sides. When you stitch up the sides, don't pass this seam that we've made. We want to leave this open right here. All sewed up. Now we turn it right side out. And this is our belt pouch. The last step is to string some twine through the ends so that we can cinch it closed. I have 2 pieces of twine cut. Something's attached. So you want, when the twine is folded in half, you want it to be a little bit longer than this top part. So it's probably going to be easier to string it through inside out. So I'm just going to turn it back inside out. And then with this little tool, if you don't have one, you can just use the safety pin. I'm just going to stick it on the end. And I'm going to go through the left side over here. So I'm going to string it all the way through and out the other side. But once I get it out the other side, I need to keep going through the other one so that both of the ends are coming out of one side. So it loops all the way through this way. I can just tie the ends of this twine together in a little knot. And then I have one side of the bag done. I need to do the other side. And now we can turn it right side out again. And now that we have the twine inside, we can pull it tight to cinch it closed. And now you have a belt pouch. This one is not going to be like big enough to fit a phone, but it's kind of flimsy anyway since it's just one piece of fabric that's not lined or anything. So this would be like good for like a wallet, some trinkets if you want to do trinket trading, that type of good stuff. So here is one of the accessories complete. Next one is going to be so simple. So for this little jar that I got at the dollar store, it already has this loop on the side, but I want something that comes further off the loop to hang it off the belt on. So I'm just going to take this twine, cut it into 3 long equal pieces, and I'm going to braid it, and that is going to create a thicker string for it to hang off of the belt. Once I had the twine braided, I looped it through the bottle and tied it in a really tight knot, and then I just trimmed off some of that excess on the end. Now I have somewhere that I can keep water on me at the Ren Fair, which is very useful. Next project. So we have our little notebook, but we don't have anything to write in the notebook with. So I have these pens. I'm just gonna kind of use my scissors to kind of just pull this out. So now we have this ballpoint pen, and it writes just like it would. It's just out of its little shell. So this is silly because it's so simple, but I'm just gonna take this feather and I'm gonna glue it to this little ballpoint pen. And then because the end is kind of bulbous, I'm just gonna take some of this twine and kind of hot glue it and wrap it around. The other nice thing about adding the twine is not only does it kind of hide that edge, but it does give a little bit more of a firm handhold spot because it's not quite as thin up there anymore. This was a really easy DIY, and it's also really lightweight, so it's not hard to carry around with you. And as you can see, it writes just like a normal pen, which is nice because you don't have to refresh the ink like a real quill. I have one of these book rings too, and they just hinge open right here and then they clip closed at the top. So as long as you don't cover those two parts, you can make this look a little nicer. I'm gonna try that same twine and hot glue thing on here. At first I was a little worried about this because hot glue doesn't work very well on metal because it's smooth, but I think it ends up just kind of sticking to itself and to the rope once you get going, so it worked out really well, and it's a nice way to disguise a cheap book ring that you can use to attach stuff to your belt. Project number 6 is a retractable accessory clip. I lost all the footage of me working on this, but it was really simple. I painted it gold, and then I added a wax seal and a little gem and some string detail just to kind of cover up the modern looking parts of this. I think this might be one of my favorite things I made out of all these dollar store items, and I'll show you how it works when I try on the outfit at the end. I really love it though. Now we are on project number 7, which is the glasses pouch. Basically, I had this stencil lying around. It was a $2 stencil I got from a craft store, but if you don't have any, they do have some at the dollar store. And I just took some gold paint and I stippled it on, trying to keep the stencil in place, and just went over the whole stencil to cover the pouch with a more Renaissance-y looking pattern. Once the paint was dry, I did go over it with some Mod Podge just to seal it up and make it more shiny. And you have a finished case that can be used for much more than glasses. Since I do have leftover fabric, I'm gonna do the same process basically, but make a much smaller one. Because it's so tiny, I skipped the step for the belt loop, but now I have this little pouch for like change or chapstick or something. Now that all the accessories have been made, I'm gonna style them. And the base outfit I have on is all thrifted. So these pants I believe were $4, this shirt was $3. These were probably between $6 and $10, can't remember. And I believe this belt was $3, so the total of the outfit was very, very minimal already to begin with. We're gonna use our dollar store DIY accessories to make it look even more fancy. I think I'll style it with the belt over the shirt, like a tunic, and if you tuck your belt up underneath and back through, you can make this kind of medieval looking loop, which is a nice touch. Now these shoes, I am going to just leave my pants tucked into them. Okay, so here's the base outfit, which I feel like already looks pretty good just with the belt and the shoes added. Now we're gonna add the accessories. First of all, if I'm going to a LARP, I definitely want to have my little book on me. So that's where this little binder book clip thingy comes in handy that we covered in twine. You can just clip that right onto your belt, and then that way you've got your notebook attached to you. Next, I'm just gonna undo the belt to add my pouch on here. So just stringing that through. We now have a little place to keep all of our trinkets and things. Ta-da! The next thing I have are the little glasses holder that we painted on with the stencil. So I think I'll attach that on this side over here. And then this little thing that holds like a card on the end, this also has a clip on it, so we can attach that to the belt. There's a couple options that we have with these. My first thought was that if we attach the fan to this little guy, I have my fan, and if I get hot and I need to use my fan, it's already just attached to me, and then if I let go of it, it's not going anywhere, which is great because I lost a lot of stuff at fairs for not being careful. So that's one option for this. You can also maybe use the glasses holder as like a little fan holster, which is very nice. So that can go there. I thought maybe it could be cool to attach the pen here to this. This feather's a bit long and unruly, so it might not be like the best option, but you know, it's attached to me and I can take it out and write with it if I want to. But this can also go into that little belt holster over here. So, you know, you got options. For this bottle, because I don't want to have to take off my belt every time I want to drink from it, I'm going to use this belt strap that I made in another DIY video that I would put above and in the description. But this is a really simple DIY where you just use a scrap piece of fabric and a D-ring and a little clip, and then you have your bottle attached to you right here. So this way you can carry water around with you or something, which is always nice. But this strap, as I've demonstrated before in other videos, you can also use for like a tankard or like a mug, which you can also get for very cheap, and that will add a lot of character to your outfit. So here we have an outfit that we've only spent $10 on the accessories, and then plus the cost of the base outfit, we have a very affordable Ren Faire outfit. I think that this look is perfect for the Ren Faire. I have pockets for all the things that I need. I totally forgot about this little pouch too, which I have also demonstrated. With this strap, you can attach multiple things here. So like, now I can have a coin purse and my beverage with me. I think keeping stuff on your belt is a great way to accessorize and also make sure you have everything you need for your events that you're going to. So I hope you enjoyed this little video where I saw what I could create with only dollar store items. I think it came out very nice, and I'm actually very excited about this little thing right here. It's like a little fun stim toy. But yeah, I'm gonna continue to use this. Let me know what you think of the final outfit, and if you have any other good DIY ideas. I did have a few other ideas that I didn't follow through with, but maybe I'll do this again if you guys enjoyed this. That is all I have for you this time. I hope you're having a lovely winter so far. I'm ready for it to be over personally, but Ren Faire season is beginning soon, so that is great news. I am hoping to go to the Arizona Ren Faire in March, so keep an eye out on my Instagram and I will let you guys know when I'm coming. But yeah, I'll talk to you next time.